So a little bit about who we are and where we are in Emporia State. We are right in the middle of the United States, so the 48 states, as you see in yellow there, in Kansas. And our town is a relatively small city of about 40,000. You can see some of the larger cities of the US around us, Dallas to the south, Chicago, and then the cities on the coast. So we're right in the center. And we call this region the Midwest. And in other cases, we sort of say it's the heartland because it's the heart of the nation. We thought from the beginning, we just give you a few pictures of what the campus landscape looks like. We're in a climate that has all 4 seasons. So here you see a picture of, this is probably about October, and that's what it looks like here then. A little bit later in December, January, we get some snow. Menashe can tell you all about the snow if you have questions for him. This is our mascot called Corky. He's the hornet, and as you know, most United States universities do have a mascot that is a part of their sports teams. So he is the mighty hornet, small, but he can sting the opponent. A little bit about the university. What's our profile? So we're relatively old. We were founded in the 19th century in 1863 as the first public school in our state. We're middle-sized with slightly under 6,000 students. But we're a global campus. Even though we're in the center of the country, we really have a high percentage of international students. It fluctuates between 8 and 9% usually, and representing quite a broad variety of countries from just about every continent, of course, except for Antarctica. And the type of university that we are what is called a master's comprehensive. So we have about 50% bachelor's programs and about 50% master's. And what that means for the bachelor students really is they get a lot of opportunities to do more research, more hands-on research as part of their program. So just a couple shots of the sidewalk and what it looks like, and we have a few short videos to share.
Hola.
Bonjour.
Guten Tag.
Ni hao.
Salam.
Annyeong.
Привет.
Konnichiwa, genki desu ka?
Hello. Hey everyone, it's Gabriel Molina, and guess what? The nice weather is already here, spring break has passed, so what have our international students been up to? Well, for starters, people have been enjoying activities inside the university and around the university. Here, you will always find something to do. Some students have been visiting places close by, like Kansas City or St. Louis, Missouri. But if you go a little bit farther, you'll eventually get to Chicago. It's a really popular destination for our students because it's a beautiful big city and it's close by. Now, if we go towards the East Coast, students have been visiting places like Boston, Washington, D.C., and New York. On the other side of the US, some people visited Hollywood, San Francisco, some people went to Universal Studios, which is awesome, and then others went over to Las Vegas. The students who went to San Francisco went there for a business competition called the Holt Prize. Then going down south, Florida, and going down even farther, international students who work for the international office went to Guatemala and Bolivia. Emporia is in a great spot for you to travel around. There's some beautiful places around us, beautiful cities, and if you want to go farther, let's say East Coast or West Coast, you can do it easily. Hola.
Okay, I think Menashe has a few quiz questions for us.
They're not accessible right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
That's okay. Well, we'll come back to that a little bit later. Just a few fun questions to see if you've been paying attention to some of the things we've been talking about, but that's okay. All right, some of ESU's accolades, a little bit about our rankings. We consistently rank one of the best Midwestern universities in publications such as US News and World Report and the Princeton Review. We also have ranked number 33 best US university for awarding basically scholarships to international students. This is an accolade that I'm particularly proud of. If you imagine that there are over 4,000 universities and colleges in the United States, this is quite a high ranking. We are also the only public university in our state to be named the 2020-2021 College of Distinction. And many of our programs have very distinctive accreditations. Of course, the university is accredited, and that's by the Higher Learning Commission. But other schools, colleges, and programs are accredited as well, since especially our School of Business, which is AACSB accreditation, which is earned by slightly fewer than 5% of all the schools of business on the globe. And as you just jump in, if you think if it's working again, and I'll pause. One very important thing to consider when choosing a university, especially if you're going to choose a university thousands of kilometers away from home, is the safety. People coming to the United States do think about safety, and we're happy to say that Emporia is one of the 10 safest communities in our state. And the FBI actually ranks campuses across the nation each year, and we are consistently ranked #1 safest campus in the state as well. And actually, maybe you can talk a little bit about the feeling of comfort and just being on campus and in Emporia.
Yes, I can definitely add to that. Like I said, I come from Harare, Zimbabwe, which is a much bigger city than Emporia. So it's a lot of activity, bustling. There's a lot of things going on. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's definitely a change of pace when you come to Emporia. Things are a little bit more slower, but that's good for for education and being able to study. So the safety aspect then even adds to that, because if you can imagine your family who might be thinking about you or who are concerned about you as you're like thousands and thousands of miles away from home, if you're here in Emporia, they can have that peace of mind to know that you are going to be safe. Yeah, it's actually very weird. Like there are times when I've been stayed up late at the library, and maybe I'm walking home at like midnight or 1 a.m. and I feel perfectly safe. There's nothing really to be worried about. And as a student, I really appreciate that, and it just helps me, to feel quite settled here and focus on my education and getting things done.
Okay, thank you. Our students also engage with the community. Here's an example of the city of Emporia. They organize a homecoming parade in the fall for the big sort of homecoming football game. And we gather all the international students. They can dress in traditional clothing. We give them their nation's flag, and they parade down the main street with all of the other exhibits and floats. And it's a great way to showcase a little bit about their culture. At the very end, we all meet up for a nice little barbecue, the cookout before the game. Okay, we'll switch to some of the undergraduate programs. This, of course, is a large list, and it's relatively small. Of course, you can go to our website and you can chat with us to talk more about the specific majors, but this gives you a list of all the different degree programs at the bachelor's level. As I said earlier, this is a comprehensive university, so we have quite a bandwidth of different options for our students. This next slide, we reduce the number a little bit, and what we have really is a list of among the most popular graduate programs for international students, what they're coming and looking for. So it's a little bit better overview for that. But again, our website is well laid out and informative. You can look at this, and we have a team of people who are looking at guarding the emails and our WhatsApp, such as Manashi. And if you have questions, you can just email us or WhatsApp us, and we can give you more information. Plus, of course, you can message us after this presentation. Admissions requirements. We make our admissions process relatively simple. For undergraduates, we just across the board ask that the students present at least a 2.5 GPA. SATs and ACTs are not required at the moment. A lot of US schools are moving away from that more and more, and during COVID especially. So they are not required, but for some of the better, the higher level scholarships, it does help to take that, and we can give you more information if you ask us one-on-one later. We look for students who have good character and that they have a good work ethic in class. Some of our scholarships actually look at the student's personality and what it is they're going to present to us. And sometimes that's a little bit interesting for international students to understand that a US university will give you money sometimes depending on what sort of a citizen they think you'll be at the campus. What are you going to contribute? Not just what are we going to teach you, but what are you going to offer us to enrich our campus with your person? So those are all things that go into that. For graduate programs, they vary widely by program. The overall minimum is the 325 to be competitive. again, any specific questions about these, and we can talk about it in the chat, and you can email us or WhatsApp us later for sure. And Menashe, why don't you tell them about your programs that you've done here before we go into the scholarships?
Okay, so I did my bachelor's here, and it was in accounting, and the scholarships that I got was, I got one for my SAT. I also got a diversity scholarship added to that. And then of course, for my SAT scholarship, I had to maintain a 3.0 average during my bachelor's degree in order for me to keep it. Fast forward on, now I'm a graduate student, so I'm doing my master's, and I have a graduate assistantship, which basically means that my tuition is waived, but I also work here in the international office. But graduate assistantships are not just limited to certain offices, they're actually kind of campus-wide. So there are many different scholarships actually you could get, depending on what qualities you bring to the university. So it can be academic, it can be sports, it can be different recreational activities, clubs, RSOs, leadership positions that you have. So there's a little bit for everyone.
So thank you, Menashe. So it's the scholarship situation is simultaneously easy but complicated. It's complicated because we can't just simply say right now, what am I going to get? Because in the United States, we really need to see your application. And we look at the grades, we look at the courses you took. If you had tests, then we look at the test scores. Some of the money has to do with, can you play an instrument, or can you dance, or do you have art talent? Are you good on the tennis court? What sorts of talents can you bring? The easy part is you simply apply and you let us know all those things. And then we will send it to the machine, if you will, sort of a mill, and we'll have everybody look at the paperwork who could have a possible interest in giving you some money, and then we'll let you know. So can't sort of predict up front too much, but just apply, and once you do, we'll get you that answer. This slide gives you a quick overview. One that, so the diversity award that Menashe got, that's about 55% off, 55% scholarship off from the tuition right away. And that's pretty good. You just have to have that GPA and have a recommendation letter. And most often we can urge you to go to the Education USA office in your country and have them write that. It's good too, because they are very helpful overall in the application process and can help you with visa applications and things. The next category, the presidential scholarship, that is the category where the SAT and the ACT can come into play if you come as a first-year student. And that can be, as you see, between $1,000 and $3,600 additional off. If you're a transfer student, so if you spent at least a year someplace else, then you can get that range of money, but without the SAT and ACT, we just look at your grades from your previous institution. And then you heard me mention earlier, can you play an instrument? Can you dance, or do you have artistic talent? These departmental and talent scholarships, those are determined by the very professors in the different departments. So it's important for the students to identify what sorts of things they can do. And one thing that's interesting to tell you is you can be someone who gets a musical talent scholarship, but you don't have to major in music. So say you're pretty talented at the trumpet or the clarinet or the flute, you can play in ensembles, get maybe $1,000 a year for that, but still major in accounting. The nice thing is that obviously the scholarship, but you also get to be a part of the musical groups. And if that's something that you enjoy doing, you can continue that. On the graduate level, as Menashe sort of said there too, he also got the diversity award, and he got the GA. So the graduate assistantship, that's sort of the grand prize anywhere in the United States. For the most part, that comes with a full waiver of the tuition. So the student doesn't have to pay any of the tuition, and then they get basically a stipend or a paycheck, and they work roughly 20 hours a week. It could be teaching, during research, or Menashe's case, he's helping us recruit students and working, helping them finish their applications and helping us reach out to different places in the globe, and hopefully having some fun while he's doing it. The one in the middle, the new graduate student scholarship, that's a relatively small one, but a new graduate student applies for that, and the graduate school office gives that, and it's just on a meritorious basis, just a flat $500. Anything else, Manashi, about the funding that you'd like to add?
I think that's pretty much it right there.
So complicated yet simple. Apply, and then we can help you sort of figure it all out. Ask us before you apply, not so much, but it's not because we don't want to help you. So what does that mean with some real costs? We gave you some percentages. So here you have two charts. On the left, it's undergraduate. On the right, it's graduate. So for a non-resident, so you could come from Zimbabwe, from Germany, you could come from California, and you're considered a non-resident of Kansas. So the raw price for that is about $21,220. Living expenses approximately $9,120. So and some other things for a grand total, and this is approximate, of $33,340. If you get that diversity award that Manashi mentioned, that reduces it quite a bit. So it takes it from $33,340 all the way to $21,730. That's just the one that we mentioned. If you have the other, the presidential scholarship, it can go down from there. The talent scholarships and things like that, it just continues to go down. But we wanted to show you this because it's like this is an easy computation. And on the right, sort of similar, for the grad price, non-resident, $26,940 per year. And with the diversity award, it takes it down to $19,040. So I think you sort of see right there, that's why we get that high ranking, because we actually are able to give significant funding for some of our applicants. Okay, nearly guaranteed success. Here's a little slide of one of our students. We call him Chuck, and we're going to hear from him in just a minute, right? We have this video on here. But what we're using him for is to show you that we have about a 98% placement percentage of our graduates when they finish. 98% either get a job in their field within the first 6 months, or they get a place in a graduate program or a higher level graduate program. So if you get your master's from us, a PhD, your bachelor's, you can get a master's someplace else. And with Chuck, he's from Nigeria. He was awarded a GA from the School of Business, and he earned 2 business degrees, the MBA and the Master's of Science in Information Technology, and did really well for himself. He applied for OPT, which is optional practical training. International students are allowed between 1 to 3 years of paid work upon completing their degree. And as a STEM major, he was actually able to get 3, and he got a job for a national insurance company called Geico in Washington. And maybe some of you have heard of that. They have some pretty funny, silly commercials. Another example is Paula Galvez from Guatemala. She is quite an ambitious student as well. She is majoring in 2 areas, physics and math. Upon starting here, she got the diversity award and the presidential scholarship. She also got a job from the beginning, working 20 hours a week. The second year, she got what we call the Endley Memorial Scholarship. It was a full scholarship. This scholarship is a little bit of a sneaky one. They don't give it to the students until they have arrived and proven themselves here. So it's something that students often get their second and third year to help out. And so she was one of those recipients. Again, recognizing the contributions, the hard work and achievement of her work here. Okay, so another video.
Hi, my name is Ifeanyi Martin Okonkwo, and I am an alum of Emporia State University. While at ESU, I studied information technology and business administration. Emporia State University empowered me in so many ways. One is the sense of belonging and community. Emporia State has over 130 organizations that students across the campus can join. I was a member of some of these organizations, especially in the School of Business. This helped me connect with my fellow students outside the classroom, and also an opportunity for me to build my leadership experience, all while contributing to our community as a whole. I'm glad I took advantage of these opportunities because it helped shape the person I am today. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi.
He's actually has quite a good sense of humor, but he tried to be really serious for us in that video. And sorry, I misspoke. It's been a long day. It's our first day. He doesn't go by Chuck. His nickname here is Martin. So forgive me if he's watching. Okay, so here's a slide a little bit about what our alumni do. So some of them actually have jobs as professors in other universities. We have some who work in managers for companies and directors in different companies like Alibaba in China. We have somebody who is one of the directors at the World Bank. One of our alumni was a minister of finance in her home country. Lots of people who go on and get PhDs, and see, these are some of the universities where you'll typically see people going. Of course, there's others. If the PhD wasn't enough for them, they keep going and they want to do postdoctoral programs. And so we have some that have gone to the Yale School of Medicine, Washington, University in St. Louis, and Northwestern. A little bit else another thing that we really want to drive home about this university is it's not just about what you learn. It's not just about sitting in the class and listening to the professor's lecture and taking notes and trying to do well in your exams. It's about getting involved in different ways. What are your passions? What are your avocations? What, other than getting up to take your math class, your accounting class, your history class, what is it that gets you up out of bed and gets you excited about life? You can really get active and connect on this campus in many different ways. Menashe, what are some things you'd like to say about getting involved on campus?
For sure. I mean, it's very much added value to my college experience. I've been in a large part, I've been part of the soccer club because, you know, I love to play soccer. I watch soccer a lot. So it's allowed me to meet many different people across campus. I'm also part of the Umoja group, which is basically an African student group. And I've been able to, build on my leadership skills, should I say. In my undergraduate time, I was part of the leadership group for a group called GIVE, which means getting involved in volunteering in Emporia. So basically community service. And that allowed me to meet so many people from the community, as well as just working on my interpersonal skills and communication skills. So I would highly encourage that, you know, when you get to a university, and I hope it's Emporia State, that, you know, immerse yourself in these different programs that are out there for you, because it can only really benefit you. So I'd encourage it.
Thank you for that. And I just can't really drive home enough that it really, at the United States, particularly Emporia, it's not just about that education in the classroom. This is a little micro community on this campus, and you can get engaged in all sorts of ways. And it can, you know, fill your heart, it can fill your mind, but it also can be good practice for those next steps when you complete. These are things that can go in your resume and help you get a job and just enrich your life. And of course, we try to have fun events when COVID isn't shutting us down. Here's a concert that we had in the front of our main building in the evening. Tonight is the first. So this is the first week of classes, the first day of classes in the city of Emporia. Shuts down the main street, and we have a block party tonight for a few hours. So all sorts of stores and community organizations will be out there meeting and greeting the students, giving away free food and other sorts of nice things. So it's a great way to get to know the people in the town and make new friends on campus. This is during the summertime. So Emporia, of course, like most US cities, has a firework display. So that's kind of fun to sit on the football stadium and watch that. And here we have another video of a few students that's showing where they're from and how far they've traveled to be a Hornet here with us at ESU.
I'm from Egypt. I traveled over 6,700 miles.
I'm from Estonia.
I'm from Iran.
I'm from South Korea.
I'm from Mali.
I'm from France.
I'm from Syria.
I'm from Tunisia, and I traveled 5,400 miles.
I come from China.
I'm from Finland.
I'm from Saudi Arabia, and I traveled almost 7,500 miles from home to become a Hornet.
So we have a new slogan here that we're trying to reach out and tell people, you know, and again, this is about the ways you can engage yourself on campus and do things to connect your education to your future. We don't think that university education is about coming in and simply doing what you're told. Yes, we have degrees here and we want you to take classes, But we don't tell you every class you need to take. You get to use a little bit of your own guidance and your own judgment. But we want to show you coming in here with your curiosity and your drive and engagement, matched up with the faculty and the staff here who want to help you. That combination makes us really the school of everything is possible. It doesn't mean that you have to do it all. It doesn't mean that we're going to do it all for you. But if you come with that right spirit and with that right motivation, you can accomplish quite a bit. So I think we've got some time for some questions.
As well, I just wanted to mention the polls should be working.
Oh, okay. Should we give them a few poll questions, Manashi?
Yeah, sorry, there was a glitch earlier.
Okay.
Sure. I just don't have the function for the poll on my side.
Okay. I've got it. I'll just do it right here. It's showing up on mine, so that's okay.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the first one. What's the name of our mascot? Okay, a couple more seconds. Okay, it's Corky, Corky the Hornet. And let's see. Try another one here. Well, it's not letting us do the next one. Here we go. Okay, so what state is Emporia State located in? Okay, one more second there. Okay, most people got it right. A few people were thinking Florida. In the wintertime, I wish it was, but we're in Kansas. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I talked to you a little bit about a ranking considering regarding our scholarship, how well we do scholarships. What's our ranking there of the more than 4,000 universities? Okay, I think people got it right. So we're 33rd. All right. How are we doing on time? I think got about, what, 15 minutes for questions? Is that right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Why don't we turn over to questions then and see what people have to say? All right. So the one, good afternoon, do you accept CSEC grades? These are the exams we take at the end of the secondary level in the Caribbean. Menashe, do you happen to have that answer off the top of your head?
I'm assuming these are high school grades?
Yes.
Yes, if they are high school grades, we will analyze them and evaluate them. And then essentially what we do is we kind of convert it to an American GPA to kind of understand where you're at academically. And then we kind of go from there. So yes, if they are high school grades, we do evaluate them.
Okay. Some folks are asking about application fee waiver. Once in a while, we are able to do that. The best thing to do is to just message us and ask individually. Let's see, that's everything in there. Let's see. Sorry, our director of admissions, who usually is on this with us, is up to here with some first day of classes things, and he couldn't join us. So rest assured, we'll get these answered to you. Application fee, so yes, there is an application fee. Someone else asked, and all that's on the website and how to pay that and things. Financial assistance. So someone asked, what if I'm in need of further financial assistance? Well, we showed you some illustrations of some of the funding. What we do with students is, if it reaches that point where ESU has offered you X amount of financial aid and you communicate to us that that's not enough, we will try to help you, give you some counseling on some other ways to get some funding, and we just work it from there. There's no one answer for everybody. We do work with a lot of students to help them find jobs. You may know this, but international students may work 20 hours a week during the academic year on campus relatively easily. During the breaks, they can work 40 hours, and that can really help. And sometimes in these conversations, we find out that somebody can play an instrument, but they didn't tell us, and so we can try to find a scholarship there. So it's a different conversation depending on the student, but we're happy to work with you. Says, do you accept high school graduates from Rwanda with an A-level high school certificate? Is that then like the Oxford system? Menashe, do you know?
Yeah, if it's the A levels that we generally deal with, then yes, we do. Generally, we accept most high school grades as long as we can see, the transcript with your grades. Some high schools, I know you do maybe 4 years, some do like 6 years, but like there's like a breakdown of what you got in your classes throughout your time in high school. Then yes, we will evaluate them and basically consider you for admission.
And with A levels too, there's a possibility of earning some college credit depending on the classes that you've taken and your scores.
Right.
Do we offer athletic scholarships? Yes, we do. Menashe, what you want to list some of the sports that might be competitive for the students to get some scholarships?
So I've seen many students get tennis scholarships, for sure, soccer,
women's soccer.
Oh, sorry, women's soccer.
Yeah.
Yes. Athletic scholarships, whether that's track, I don't know, shot put, javelin, whatever you're good at in track, there's scholarships there. American football, but usually I've seen a lot of Americans do that, but there's definitely scholarships there. So it depends what you're talented in. What I would recommend is just go, if you are interested in scholarships, just go ahead to our website and then go to athletics and kind of see what sports are offered. And if you think you're really talented in one of those sports, I would recommend reaching out to one of the head coaches and getting a conversation started too.
And if for some reason the reaching out to those coaches isn't working, feel free to reach back out to us and we can help make an introduction. Right. Just bear in mind that it's a significant talent, not just you enjoy it. Okay. So Zakaria writes here from Somalia, but I don't see the rest of what you're trying to say there. So if you finish that, we can try to help you. Scholarships can be stacked. All the categories that we've mentioned so far can be stacked on top of one another. It's theoretically, you're able to go for free. Paula, for instance, the girl from Guatemala, she was actually able to go for free. So the Menashe, all of your scholarships stack on top of one another, diversity, the transfer, right. So. Right. Do we have an education program? We have a teachers college that specializes in early childhood and elementary education, as well as secondary education and special and gifted education. So yes, we're actually known as a teachers college. It's one of our more famous programs, and in particular, elementary. So you can look that up or write us for more information. Menashe, are you answering on this? Someone's writing yes.
I didn't write yes.
Okay, I was just curious if somebody helping us. So we do not have a law school in our university. Law in the United States is a doctoral degree. In many other countries, it's a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. So to get a law degree here, for the most part, you first get a bachelor's degree. There are some programs where you finish the bachelor's and can get a master's of law, but in other cases, it's a doctor of jurisprudence. So what students can do then is get a bachelor's from us and then apply to a law school. And of course, they could apply to anyone in the United States, but there are 2 in the state of Kansas, relatively close by. So someone just asked a very open question, how do I get a scholarship? We've gone over that in the program. You can look on the website to see what sorts of categories. Really, scholarships in the United States, you don't get them until you've applied, because we can't award them until we have seen your records and seen what you offer. I know that works differently from in most other countries, but we're also happy to chat with you if you want to send us, some information about yourself. Pre-med program, yes, we have a pre-med program in the United States that is usually not a bachelor's degree. It's a track or a pathway. So the students typically major in some sort of biology or chemistry, although sometimes they major in French literature. As long as they take the pre-medical courses, which consist of some biology courses, 5 chemistry, some physics and calculus and things like that, as long as they do that and have a good GPA and do well on the medical school entrance exams, medical schools are accepting them. So you can major in just about anything, and we do have quite a few pre-meds, and we have a very high acceptance rate as well. And many of them go to what's called KU Medical School in Kansas City. Alicia writes, when you're reviewing our transcripts and grades, would the American grading system be used? My country's, so from Jamaica. So we have sort of interpretation scales. We realize that the scales are very different numbers, different percentages. Some high schools and universities in other countries are very stringent. They hate to give high grades. So we look at all of that and we convert it and calculate it. Do you apply to scholarships while applying or after? Applying to scholarships is, so you apply to the university, and that is in essence the same as applying for scholarships. We said earlier in the show that in the PowerPoint that applicants will look at all the things that you show us, and then we'll make sure that you're considered for the scholarships that you're eligible for based on what you show us on your application. Anything else you want to add to that, Manashi?
No, that's it right there. Yep.
Okay. So engineering programs. We have what we call a pre-engineering program, which is really good for students for a variety of reasons who don't go directly to a university with engineering. It could be that they want to start at a smaller school with a lower price tag. Maybe they don't have the science and math grades and skills that an engineering program would require to get admission or to get good scholarships. And so what a lot of students will do for all those reasons is they start with us for a few years, and then we have an automatic pathway to Kansas State University in Manhattan, Kansas, or to the University of Kansas in Lawrence, or Wichita State. All 3 of them have engineering schools. And by doing it that way, they get a bachelor's of science from us in maybe physics or chemistry and mathematics. And then from the other university, they get a bachelor's of science in one of their engineering programs. It's a little bit of a more gradual start for some of them, and many of them are able to actually garner better scholarship support because KU, K-State, and Wichita State will award their scholarship money based on what they do in the United States versus what they did back home. If that makes sense. So if you have more questions about that, please just you can just write us. Water engineering, I'm not quite sure. There is at the University of Kansas in the civil engineering program some things that do with water quality and water conservation and things like that. And so in case that's what you're looking for, yes, you can take a look at the civil and environmental engineering program there. Santiago, the cost of living, I think the best thing there to do that Google has lots of cost of living comparison calculators, and you can just get on there and you can put your city in Bolivia, whether it's Santa Cruz or Tarija or something, and then just put in Emporia, and then you can see what the difference is in percentage, whether it's the same or 100%, 150% higher. But it varies even in Bolivia from city to city. We have no engineering at Emporia State, but again, we have those pre-engineering programs where the students start with us and they finish up at one of our 3 neighbor universities and get 2 bachelor's degrees. And All three of them have electrical engineering, and they have electrical engineering and computer engineering. Question here, can you take a dual program while at ESU? Do students live on campus? So dual program, I'm not quite sure what you mean. If you mean double major, pursue 2 majors, yes. Paula, earlier we talked about her, she's getting 2 bachelors, one in physics and one in math. And that is possible. And actually it's not double the cost. Students may live on campus or off campus, it's up to them. Just that first year, what are the age requirements, Menashe? If you're 17, 18?
Yes, if you're 17 or 18, then your first year you have to stay on campus.
Okay. And why don't you, so they're asking a little bit about how the dorms are set up. You want to talk a little bit about what the dorms are like facilities wise? I don't know if you see the questions, they want to know, what are the bathrooms like? Are they private bathrooms? You know, is it co-ed? How do the, you know, where do the guys live compared to the girls?
Sure. So it just, there are 3, or I want to say 4 main residence halls that we have here on campus. So it's going to largely depend on which one you pick when you apply, and which you stay in. But generally, it's like a dorm where you can have 2 people in a room, you can have 1 person in a room, or you can have up to 4 people in a room. So in those situations, the bathrooms are shared by the whole floor, and there's like, I don't know, there'll be like, what am I trying to say? There's 1 main bathroom that's shared by everybody on the floor. Usually, typically in the 4-person room, there'll be like 1 private bathroom that 4 people will share. So yeah, it just largely depends on which one you pick, which dorm you pick, and you know the layout is all there before you choose. Of course, you know what you're kind of going to get.
So the bathrooms aren't too crowded overall. The floors aren't that big, and also the guys will live on 1 wing separate from where the girls live. So it's not like boy girl. So there's that separation, although they are in the same building. But there is security and cameras and things. They're all pretty new. 2 of the dorms one of them is brand new, and the other one is a beautiful historical one that was just completely renovated. And then the other complex, which is 4 smaller areas, was completely renovated about, 5-6 years ago? Yeah. So everything has central air. It's very comfortable climate, nice, you know, very nice and clean. And a couple of people are asking, so yes, we are talking about dorms and residence halls, and they're all there, and they're all within 200 or 300 meters from the classrooms. So they're all around the campus, and none of them is far. You don't even need a bike, let alone a car. So yes, and yes, so double majors, you can do 2 majors, you can do 2 majors and a minor, all for the same price. You just have to work with your advisor and figure out that schedule. It's doable. Do you guys have any questions for Menashe? Because he's a fellow student here, a little bit closer in age than I am. Can you see the chat, Menashe?
Yes, I can see it.
Looks like we're gearing up for a question from somebody.
Sorry, I just have to cut in here, actually. We're at the perfect time to stop. Thank you so much for taking the time for your presentation. It was definitely full of information. I think everyone got what they came for. So thanks again, and you can check out their booth in the exhibit hall. We have about a little less than an hour for the fair remaining. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.